Today's guest is Cornelia Maute, daughter of Christiane Maute, who authored the popular book entitled Homeopathy for Plants. Cornelia has been carrying on her mother's wonderful work in the field of Agri-Homeopathy, and it was such an honor to have her share her knowledge with us today. With more people starting to ask questions about how we can reduce our use of pesticides in agriculture, my hope is that homeopathy for plants will be wholeheartedly embraced around the world, whether it's for growing plants at home or in large-scale agriculture. Christiane's book, Homeopathy for Plants, can be purchased through Narayana Verlag, and if you're a farmer interested in using homeopathy with your crops, you can book a consultation with Cornelia by visiting her website. The URL is www.maute-pflanzenhomeopathy.de, and I cannot speak German to save my life, so you'll have to excuse the pronunciation. If you just search for Cornelia with a C, Maute, M-A-U-T-E, Homeopathy for Plants, she will come up straight away. Now, over the years, I've personally had several clients ask me to create a kit they can use for their plants. So based on Christiane's book, my team and I have put together some Agri-Homeopathy kits so that you can easily access all of the remedies in the book. Just visit www.eugeniekruger.com and we ship worldwide. The lovely Narayana Verlag has also got their own kits based on Christiane's book, so there are plenty of options for you to access remedies for your plants and get started straight away. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the Homeopathy Hangout, where we discuss all things homeopathy from around the world. And now my mum and your host, Eugenie Kruger.
Hello, homies, and a very warm welcome to Homeopathy Hangout. Today, I have a very special guest that I have been so looking forward to having on the show. It is the lovely Cornelia Maute. Welcome to the show, Cornelia.
Many thanks in inviting me. I am a little bit excited, and I hope I will go more fluently through this podcast.
Absolutely fine. Like I said to you, I can only say ich verstehe sie nicht. And my kids have taught me, because they were at a Steiner school, so they learned German. They've taught me how to say Regenbogen and Apfel. And I think that's, and I can say eins, zwei, drei. So like I said, your English is much better than my German. So we're just going to have a great time today. So Cornelia, tell us a little bit about how you discovered homeopathy, and specifically homeopathy for plants, which is our topic today. And I'm so excited about it because so many more people are realizing they can use homeopathy in their plants, and it's revolutionary for some people. So tell us about your journey.
Okay, I was born in 1969, and I was growing up with the method of homeopathy, of classical homeopathy, since my childhood. So I was influenced by my mother, Christiane. She has, until now, her job as a homeopath for human. And she wrote the book Homeopathy for Plants, which was published in 2011. Some years later, there was also the English version. The beginning of Christiane's path for being a plant homeopath was a hazard. So Christiane bought a beautiful blue delphinium, and it got injured while taking it out of the pot. The main stalk snapped, and the rest of the plant was only attached by a few fibers. Christiane planted it anyway, but for supporting the healing of the poor plant, she watered it with some drops of Arnica 200C. Yes, it's written in the book, the history.
Just for those watching on Rumble, on our Rumble channel, I've got a little video, a little photo up here from Christiane's beautiful book.
That's the picture with the delphinium. Yeah. And an amazing transformation was visible. The delphinium was standing upright, and the plant was still blooming and recovered well. So during the next years, my parents made more experiences and administrations in their household garden with ornamental plants and with vegetables, with herbs and with trees. And the number of experiences and notes grew over the years. And the content for a whole book was created. My own career path has been varied so far, but has provided me also with some useful skills. At first, I completed my education as a speech therapist. But when I started my own family, I learned how rapidly and effectively homeopathy works from treating my family and also our pets. But my mother's research awakened my interest in the method of treating plants with homeopathy. I made some experiences in my own garden, and I got really curious to learn more about this new, highly promising method of treating plants. I've been able to constantly increase my knowledge in this field, reading relevant literature and participating in a little private study group together with Christiane, consisting of horticulturists, wine growers, and homeopaths. So this was a good mixture of people and participants, I guess. And in 2017, I successfully completed my education as an animal homeopath.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. Oh,
yes. Some people ask me, why did you do your education as a human homeopath? But my work with people over years make me tired of working with so many people. So I decided to go the animal way and the plants way. So that's it.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know that you do animal homeopathy as well. That is so beautiful. And our beautiful animals deserve to be treated with natural medicine as well. And they do respond so beautifully.
Yeah.
I just wish that more people would realize the benefit of agri-homeopathy or plant homeopathy, because I feel like our poor planet, poor Mother Earth, has been sprayed so much. Our soils are so depleted. There are so many diseases, plant diseases, that are resistant to a lot of the conventional sprays and things. And especially if you are an organic farmer, I mean, you can get, top price for your produce, and then using something as cost effective as homeopathy just makes so much sense. I know I had Pat Ahern on the show, and he is a farmer who uses homeopathy, and he started using it on his crops as well. And he was saying that his accountant is very happy with him because his profit margins has skyrocketed since he used the homeopathy, because it's so cost effective and it's so effective at treating not just the land, but the animals as well. And I mean, you can use plant homeopathy just in your garden at home, just for your roses or to increase your produce, or you can use it on a large scale for farming as well, which is amazing.
Yes, as well. I have to say that our books are written for lay purpose, for use in the home garden and for hobby gardens. And professionals like wine growers, farmers, or others can get a wide overview and a good start into the topic. But treating huge fields, and especially monocultures, need another approach than treating a home garden. In a home garden, you have more biodiversity. You have several insects, animals, and a wide range of several plants, which help avoiding really massive diseases or pandemic situations on your whole crops. Okay. For your entire crops. For farmers, I recommend requesting an individual consultation for an entire season. Also, it would be a good idea to dive deeper by watching my detailed and extensive video course, which is available in English language at Naturopathic CE. You might find the access on my website.
Okay, I did not know that either. That is extremely exciting. So you actually have a video course that can teach people how to do this. I only knew about the book. I feel woefully underprepared now. I thought I was being all flash having your book in my hands here. And for our listeners who don't know, YouTube removed my channel with over 300 videos. So you'll have to look at the video of this on Rumble. But can I just say, what a beautiful book this is as well. And I'll just throw just the layout of it is really gorgeous. It's so easy to read. It has got some beautiful photos in there as well. You've made it very easy to see exactly which remedies to use. I love a book that is well laid out. It's high quality printing. I mean, Narayana Verlag is so good at printing the most beautiful homeopathic books, right?
Yes.
It's so good.
I have to say that this is the main work is done by my mother, Christiane. So I work as a co-author since several years. We do this together. We collect and edit and enlarge the content from edition to edition. But the heritage is by my mother, Christiane.
Amazing. And you've got beautiful before and after photos in here as well. So the plants before the treatment and after the treatment. You've got all sorts of things here, pests and how to strengthen the plant and how to administer the remedies and everything else, which will be good if we can go a little bit more into that as well. And then we need to circle back to this course on naturopathic CE because I did not know about that and I need to know more about that. Actually, maybe just tell us about that now because I'm not going to be able to wait till the end. So tell us about the types of things that people can learn in the course.
I divided the course in, I guess, 5 main parts. So the first part is about basics of homeopathy on plants and about injuries. And this first part is for free. It's just for checking if you're okay with my way of teaching and explaining the things. And the other parts are to buy. And the parts are, for example, diseases, treating pests. We don't say destroying pests, we say treating pests. And growth problems and a part about soil, for example. So you can go to these chapters and parts. And after that, you got a wide overview about the whole topic. And the constitution of the parts is completely different to the parts of the book. So I tell about special administrations and special programs which are not mentioned in the book. So
that's great. And I was going to ask you as well about, you were saying about farmers. So if there are any farmers listening to this, did you mention that they can have an individual consult? Do they do that with you or is that an option? Oh, you do that. Oh, amazing.
Yes, I run the consulting service for several years and I run all the office stuff, all emails and so on.
Wow.
Because Christine is on her way to stop working. She's trying. She's still trying for several years.
I just had an email just last week from Jill Turland, who wrote the book on mega potency. She's 81 or 82 now, and she's still trying to retire, but people keep asking her advice.
Yes. Christiane is 75 now.
Oh, that's still spring chicken. She's got plenty more years to consult. Amazing. And so for anyone interested who maybe we've released over 300 episodes before and we've had 2 or 3 episodes on agri-homeopathy, but maybe this is a new listener's first time listening to this podcast and the first time they ever hear about plant homeopathy. What are some of the first remedies that you would say, like with a home user, we always say definitely start with Arnica. You got to have Arnica in your home for the bumps and the bruises for the children. But if you want to start with plant homeopathy, what are some basic remedies that you should start trying that's nice and easy for the home user to play with at home?
So that's funny because I thought about a long time, which remedies would I recommend for having a good and easy start? And it's also Arnica. Arnica and 2 other examples if you want to hear them.
Yes.
So first, Arnica 200C, we use the high diluted potency, helps to regenerate after all kind of injuries. Of course, for our plants, it's a great remedy to give support after root injuries, after root demolitions, and of course, after repotting, replacing, and new planting in general. So especially trees and large plants have a remarkable benefit of Arnica. Immediately applied after the repotting or replanting process. So you should water your plant in general after repotting or replanting it, and you just add 6 globules of Arnica 200C into the watering can, 10 liters watering can. That's the big one. Just wait until globules have dissolved. Stir well and just water the plant. That's it. Even plants and trees which had been damaged seriously at their roots show a good and easy recovering by watering them with Arnica water. And we have very good before and after stories in our presentations and lectures also. And further, Arnica is a wonderful strengthening remedy in general. So what does that mean? When I see a plant which seems to be weak, but I'm not able to find the real cause because plants don't talk. Sometimes it's a riddle, but you may learn in time how to interpret how plants talk. And if I can't find a real cause, or if I can't get an impression about the circumstances, I start my treatment always with one application of Arnica 200C. That's it. So it's my remedy to treat injuries, and it's also my remedy to treat weakness of unknown origin, of unknown cause.
That's beautiful. And you said that you had a couple of other remedies. What are the other must-have remedies?
The second I choose is, how do you say in English? Silica?
Just silica, I think, is how most people would know it here.
The third is sulfur.
And have you got a particular potency for those? And what sort of things would people use it for in their home?
Yes, we recommend it to use it in the Potency 200C. And silica is a remedy which improves and accelerates the growth of the above ground parts of plants. It pushes growth and brings a number of advantages with this effect, because plants will strengthen and hardening their cells under the influence of silica, and they are able to develop harder surfaces, harder skins of leaves and fruits. Why is this important? This effect makes them less sensitive for fungal infections or for pest invasions, pest penetrations. In consequence, they are more robust against biting and sucking pests. But attention, when applied too often, your tomatoes or your lettuce will develop too hard. So it might end as a rabbit foot or a chicken foot, not for our teeth. So I recommend just 2 applications per season. This might be enough for all those vegetables you want to eat. And there's another attention on vegetables which build tubers, like potatoes, beetroot, kohlrabi, and so on. One single administration is sufficient, because silica pushes the growth upwards. And on vegetables with tubers, we don't want this growth. We want the tubers to grow.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. That's good to know. Silica is also a kind of all-rounder for several fungal diseases, especially given as preventive application in springtime.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So you said silica was the one, and sulfur was the other one. What would you use sulfur for?
The third one is sulfur. So everyone who wants to start trying, making some experiences in his garden, in her garden, is invited to use these 3 for having an easy start. Sulfur is a remedy with a very wide spectrum of application, and it is the same for plants. The main points for its indication on plants are pests. Also, several fungal infections and consequences of heat damage from pests is the main field. Sulfur 200C also helps to improve the absorption of water. That's important for plants which suffer from heat damage or kind of that, because sometimes we have the situation that thirsty plants aren't able to suck the water at their disposal. And this will improve quickly with sulfur. One clinical aspect is plants that show yellowish or yellow discoloration of leaves or of blooms should be treated with sulfur. And of course, the pests, sulfur is our so-called pests all-rounder. It drives away any kind of pests, anything that crawls and flies. And we suggest, of course, we don't know exactly, that the sulfuric smell, or rather the sulfuric information, is able to make the plant unattractive for aphids, for bugs, or for caterpillars.
Amazing. And I guess the main thing with homeopathy, whether it's an animal or a plant or human that you're treating, is the remedy is going to make the vital force, like trigger the vital force of that organism, whether it's an animal, plant, or a human, to be stronger. And the stronger they are, the less susceptible they are to pests and fungus and all sorts of diseases and things. I guess that's like the main thing of how the remedies would work and strengthen the plant that way. So rather than it killing the pests, like you were saying, it's not disease killing or pest destroying, it's actually strengthening the plant so that it's less appealing to the pests.
Yes, every horticulturist or every farmer knows that strong plants are less sensitive for suffering from a heavy pest infestation or disease. So it's about strengthening the plant. We don't destroy pathogens and we don't destroy animals. That's important to know when we treat our garden. So every treatment, what we do has an effect on the weakness of a living being and not an effect beside which we can't control.
And that is so, so important. I mean, as our agriculture is becoming less diverse with monocultures and monofarming and the sprays and exactly the microbiome of the planet is reducing, so is our own human microbiome as well. And so it's so important to, regenerate our soil and our plants as well as ourselves as well. I have a little interesting story to share with you. So probably, it must be 10 years ago now because I was still in New Zealand and I've just realized I've been in Perth for 8 years now, but it was ages ago. I was having an infestation of snails. And I have this really good trick. I use beer. I pour it in a container and put it outside and I put a little dome over it. And then all the slugs and snails go in there. It works really well. But there was just such an infestation. I couldn't keep up with my beer trick in the garden anymore. And I used the homeopathic remedy Helix Tosta, put it in a watering can and watered it on the garden. And it really helped to keep the snails away. And just for our listeners, Helix Tosta is the remedy made from toasted snail shell. Interestingly, in your book, though, I see that you've actually found it works better in a 6C than a 30C.
This is just an experience we made over years. We don't know the cause. I guess the 6C or the 6D, we also use in German the 6D. Of course, there is some real material stuff in the remedy left. So I guess this is a more rough information for the snakes to stay. Just an interpretation. I don't know if this is the truth. I don't know the truth, but this is our thought about that.
Interesting. And also, I was surprised how many of the 200C potencies you have in the books. I always had the thought that with plants, it would be better with a 30C or more like a material dose, like a 6C or a 12. But there's actually quite a few 200Cs in there as well. So that's really interesting. Has Christiana just experimented with potencies over the years, or does she just gravitate more towards the 200Cs, or what have you found?
I know that she wanted to avoid too much work because it's well known that the low potencies have to be applied more often. And I guess she also wanted to set a deep information, a long-lasting and deep information on the situation, on the disease of the plant, of the weak plant. And of course, you don't need this high dosage of the remedy. You just need 6 or 8 globals in 10 liters of water. I guess that's the point she wanted to achieve with this kind of dosage and this recommendation of potency.
I was actually really happy when I saw in the book that she recommends like reapplying it every 3 days or so, maybe once a week or something like that. So it's not like how we would dose ourselves in an acute situation where if you had bruised yourself or injured yourself, you'll have Arnica, say, every half an hour for about 4 doses and then back off after that. With this, it was just like a 1 dose and then you just wait a few days and see how it goes. And I'm like, okay, that's really interesting.
Yes. Also, plants are really sensitive. So I guess these high potencies match well with them. Mm-hmm. So that's my personal impression. And if you want to treat a plant, like we say, in a constitutional way, or like we also often do preventive, that's another topic we could discuss, perhaps, the preventive treatment. So if you want to treat a plant preventively, we recommend to use the remedy just 1 or twice with an interval of 1 or 2 weeks. So that's enough. But if we want to treat acute situation, like an acute beginning plant disease or pest infestation, we recommend to repeat the remedy 3 times, 4 times, and 3 or 4 days apart. So there is work necessary over 2 weeks. But this is the difference about preventive treatment and acute treatment.
That is really great. What are some other preventative things that you would do? So when you're saying preventative treatment, what are some common things that you would want to try and prevent or that you would think of treating that way?
For example, if there is a plant in my garden and I know this plant suffers every early summertime from aphids, it's always the same. April, May is coming and it's full of aphids. Some fruit trees suffer from aphids, or some roses often. I could use a preventative treatment, for example, in March, some weeks before the infestation will come. I give, for example, 1 or 2 applications of sulfur, or for roses especially, Fuga 30C is recommended. And I wait if the infestation will occur in the same way or a little bit eased or a little bit less.
I like that. That is such a good idea, especially for some people who their roses are their pride and joy. So it's great if you can do something. And if you've got a aphid infestation, it is so annoying and they're so disgusting. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you this story. Luckily, I know my father-in-law doesn't listen to my podcast, so I can share this. But he had so many aphids on his hydrangeas the other day, and he's not naturally minded at all. And I love him so much. But he had a can of Doom and he sprayed these hydrangeas with Doom, which is like an insect killer, just sprayed all these aphids. And I was just like, okay, I'm going now. See you. Bye. As there's these big fumes of Doom everywhere. It was so funny. Oh my goodness. But that's great. So you can use some Fuga, like you were saying, and just do that prophylactically, which is really brilliant. And especially for people who have had their rose bushes, they last for decades. And so if you know that every year around this time, your plant gets infestation of aphids, you can do this test and then see how you go. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? A plant doesn't know anything about placebo. So it's either going to work or it's not. So great test to use for sure.
Also for fungal diseases. Some plants suffer from fungal diseases year by year. Also for them, I recommend, for example, 1 application of Silica 200C in the springtime, or 1 application of Thuja. But it's important to mention the circumstances. For example, I recommend to apply Thuja 200C when springtime was rather cold and wet. For example, the plant suffers from a fungal disease beginning with April or May. But springtime normally in my region is wet and rather cold. I apply Thuja 200C in March, for example. But if a plant suffers from a fungal disease beginning with warm and dry and hot weather, I rather recommend to use Silica 200C in early springtime. This is the individual approach, as we know from human treatment or animal treatment. And this is important to know. I really recommend to read the remedy descriptions in the book thoroughly, and also use the table of modalities to find the matching remedy in the book. Yes.
I did see that in the book. It's really handy to have that. I just quickly have to flick through this because I thought that was so good.
Yes. There's also a little lesson how to use the table of modalities. It's, I guess, one page further.
Have a look here.
And for some who don't know how to do the first steps, there is a little lesson about to use this table. Yes.
Oh, it's such a beautiful book. I love a well-printed book. And it's just, I feel everything about this is just so professionally done and it's so easy to use. It's really great. Yeah. So I have a big question for you, and this is about the administering of the remedies. So I know it's in your book, but I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I know that our listeners are going to be asking this. How do you recommend that they apply the remedies? Is it better on the leaves or on the roots? And what sort of container do you think they should put it in? And what should they stir it with? And how much should they give? So can you just give us like a rough little guideline? Everything is in your book, but just for those that are completely new to this, I have no idea, just give them like a little rough guide.
Okay. So at first, as we deal with information, it's not necessary to act in the manner of more is better. So just follow our guideline of the dosage table. That's important. So you could dissolve the globules in water, for example, in a screw top jar, and shake to dynamize the mixture, and then add the solution into the 10-liter watering can. So this could be a plastic can or something like that. I don't know if many people still use metal cans. I don't know. I would prefer the plastic can. Fill up with water and stir with a wooden stick you have in your garden. That's not important. Just stir and then just water the plants as usual. Water the root area and, if possible, also a short shower over the leaves. If possible, if the plant is not too tall. And trees should be watered in the area of ground below the tree canopy. So not only in the region near the stem, but a wider area, because there are the roots which absorb the water.
Okay.
Of course, please avoid watering during full sunlight. This will avoid sunburn. And I would recommend to treat during a bright and dry morning or evening. So it's also important that leaves should be able to dry out quickly. That's also for avoiding fungal diseases, for example.
Amazing. And quick question, because I know some people are really specific that once you've had one remedy in a watering can, you shouldn't then next time use a different remedy in that watering can. Like you should sterilize it and all these sorts of things. I don't personally believe that, but what's your experience been like? How easy is it to clean the watering can before you put a new remedy in there, and how important is it?
Okay. What our aim is to make it as easy as possible. We always do this one thing. After having emptied the watering can with homeopathic water, I just add 2 or 3 liters of clear water into this can. I just stir.
Yes.
And I water any plant which is near to me, and that's it. And the watering can is ready for using the next remedy. That's it. Also for the use in agriculture, the farmers just rinse their machines with some 100 liters of clear water, and the next remedy can be applied. That's it.
I'm really glad to hear that, because one thing, like us homeopaths can contradict ourselves sometime, and we'll say, don't eat or drink for 15 minutes either side of the remedy. You'll antidote the remedy. So what they're saying is it's super, super easy to antidote a remedy. Don't drink coffee. Don't have strong smelling substances, because homeopathic remedies can be antidoted so easily. But then in the same thing, they'll say, don't use the same container. You have to put boiling water in. So it's like, are they easy to antidote or aren't they easy to antidote? Because you can't kind of have it both ways. So it's either one or the other. Some people will say you have to put lots and lots of boiling water into that container and leave it out in the sun. And you have to do this and this, because otherwise that remedy will stay in the container. And then you will go give yourself a dose of that remedy the next time you put something else in there as well. So I think us homeopaths need to rethink how we're selling this to people. Like either remedies are easy to antidote or they're not. But also I guess some people are more sensitive than others. So I do understand where that kind of comes from. But I'm glad to hear you say that, because I never want people to be scared of using homeopathic remedies. There's definitely a subset of the population, and I'm talking about people a bit more so than plants now, who are very sensitive to homeopathic remedies, and they can just hold a remedy and they will have a reaction. But I would say the majority of people are actually not that sensitive to homeopathic. So often you don't have to be as careful about working with the remedies or antidoting them or all that. But it does pay to have some common sense when you work with the remedies. I just want to add something else. I was really happy to see that you've got remedies for radiation for plants there as well, because there is so much more Wi-Fi around, and you have a beautiful picture there in the book of apple orchard which is underneath like a high tension power line, and how these apple trees were affected, and that you use the remedy X-ray, I think, for that, which is really great, because there are so many 5G towers around. I don't know about in Germany, but so many 5G towers, the plants are more sensitive, so they have got more to contend with. So it's great that we use that in our homeopathic prescribing for our plants as well.
Yes, I also used the remedy X-ray, for example, where one part of the vineyard was located under a power line, a very strong power line. And they used also X-ray for this part of wine. It really worked very well. So the plants developed stronger, more robust, and didn't suffer from high infestation of diseases, for example.
I love it.
This is the approach similar to human treatment or animal treatment. You have to get the main cause and the main influence on the situation of a living being. That's similar to human treatment.
Beautiful. I don't know if you've ever used this remedy before, but my very good friend, Denitsa Appeline-Matic, who creates the blueprint essences and all sorts of other beautiful remedies, I actually got a few of her things like sitting around my desk, but she created the golden spiral remedy. Have you ever heard of that?
No, never.
Oh, I'll have to see if Denitsa can send you a sample of it so you can try it on your plants, because she has had huge success with her plants using the golden spiral remedy in her watering can, and her plants are growing so luscious. It's based on the Fibonacci sequence that you find in nature. It's beautiful, beautiful remedy. So I'll see if Denitsa can send you a bottle of that and you can try it out on your plants.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing. So, Connie, can you tell our listeners just all the places that they can get hold of you and your mum's beautiful book, and also your courses, your consultations, all the different places they can get hold of you? I know we briefly mentioned it, but maybe just run it all through with us again.
So where to buy our book? The book is available at Narayana Publishers, of course. It's also available on the Amazon shop, bookshop. And if anybody wants to contact me, you can contact me via my website. It's called maute-pflanzenhomeopathie.de. That's terrible for people. But if you enter the keywords Maute, plants, homeopathy into the search engine, you will find the English version of our website. It's available and readable in English also. And there are also listed our seminars. There's also the access to the naturopathic CE lecture, and there's a contact form and so on. So that's quite easy.
Amazing. I'm just on your website at the moment, and yeah, it's all there. So it's nice and easy. You can get access to the full course set, links through to naturopathic CE. And yeah, and like you said, just type in any search engine, MAUTE. And so Maute, and then just homeopathy for plants or something like that, or Cornelia, or it will come up. It was pretty easy to find. We'll have your link in the show notes as well, but just for those who just want to go and Google straight away and find the information. Connie, it was so lovely to have you on. Thank you so much. Like I said before we start recording, you've been on my radar for such a long time, and it's just really wonderful to have you on. Please thank your mum from me and the rest of the homeopathic community as well for the beautiful resource that she's created and all the work and love that she's put into this. It's much appreciated.
I do. It's a great heritage for me to work on and to go further in my life with this topic and with this amazing method of treating plants. So it's a passion.
It is. Dankeschön.
Dankeschön. Awesome.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Wiedersehen. Thank you.